Hey Wildcats, this is Dale Martin. It is Monday, September the 11th, and today we are going to look at creating teacher websites using the new Google Sites. So by the time we're finished, you should be able to do 7 things today. You should be able to access the new Google Sites from your drive. We're going to show you how to edit your homepage banner, how to insert content on your website, how to add the required pages, the calendar page, the resource page, the schedule page, how to publish your site. Um, you're going to send that published URL to Miss Lisa Foster at splendoraisd.org. And then finally, we're going to talk about how do you share that link with your students, maybe via Google Classroom, so that they have access to that site. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your Google Drive. Make sure you're not in any open folders, but you can do that by clicking on My Drive. Yep, we're good. Then you're going to click on New, More, and Google Sites. And this will open up the Sites editor and take you to your very first page, your home page. Takes just a second. The very first thing you're going to want to do is come over here and give your page a title. In this case, we'll just call this Mr. Martin's Demo. Notice it puts the name right here for you. You can add an image if you want to, add a logo. You can change this title just by clicking on it and highlighting. You can change that to whatever you see fit. We can change the size of that text. We can center it, left or right, justify it. We can delete it, and we can make it a hot link if we wanted to, where we could click onto it and go to another website. We can also change the background image by clicking here. You can upload an image from your computer or select from some very limited options right now. And there's not many of these, but I think they will grow, and I think you can certainly add and update your own if you have pictures in your Google Drive or if you wanted to upload them. I'm just going to pick this one, double click. You will see that we have a white background and white text. So Google is checking it for readability and automatically editing it. A couple of things we can do with the header before we start adding content. We could change the size of it if we wanted to. We could make it a really large banner. We could make it just a title. We'll leave it kind of as it was. We can also reset it to the way it was when we originally started. So I'm going to leave that like it is, and we're going to start adding some text down here. Very, very simple. I just come over here and click on whatever I want to add. If I want to type some text and add some content, then I would come over here and just click on the text box feature. And it automatically, whoops, I inserted 2. So this is where you would introduce yourself. Maybe add a photo and share other content. And of course, this could roll on down the page for as long as you wanted. Now you will see that I accidentally created 2 text boxes here. This is very, very easy to move around if we wanted to put one in front of the other or above the other. We can also delete one. If we don't want this here, we can come over here and just click on this trash can. We could also copy it. And additionally, we could change the background or put some kind of image in the background by clicking here. In this case, I'm just going to leave that there, and then I'm going to delete it, clicking on the trash can. So you can see that we have just this one piece of content. Now, you can go back and edit just simply by clicking on it, and that brings up the opportunity to delete it. Or if you click on the edit feature, Now I can make it bold, italicize, change the size of the print, left, center, right, justify. I can make it a hot link if I want to, and then if I click on more, I can do some special fonts. So just by clicking on it again, I'm just going to bring this up. Maybe I only want this to take up about, I don't know, a third of the width. So I can move it over, and maybe I want to add a photograph. Now instead of going over here and clicking image, what I can do is anywhere in this white space here, if I double left click, I get this wheel. And the choices here are exactly the same as the choices here, with the exception of the divider. I could put in a hot link, I could put in text, I could upload something from my computer, I could add a picture, or I could upload something from my Google Drive. This is going to be extremely critical in a moment when we go to add calendars, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let's just say I wanted to add a picture of myself at this point. So I'm going to click on images. I know that it's in my Google Drive, so I'm going to click on that. And I believe it's called Dale JPEG. So we'll search for that. And this one right here will work. So we'll double click. And there's a picture of Mr. Martin. So maybe I want to move that over here. Maybe we don't want that quite so big. So all those editing features that we're used to works fine. Okay. Say I have a presentation today that I want to share with my students. So for example, the title page for this presentation was actually done with Google Slides. So I could come over here and click on From My Drive. And I happen to know, I'm going to just search for it by clicking this button. I happen to know that it is called Video Title Page. And there it is, so I can double click. And so now it will embed my Google Slides presentation right into my website. So if I want to make this screen go away, I can click this arrow button, click the X button, and we're back to where we started. So the beautiful thing about this is this presentation is now available for my students to view, and I could add tomorrow's presentation just below it, the next presentation just below that. If this presentation needed some kind of explanation, I could come over here and remember the shortcut rather than click on text box. The shortcut is double click with the left mouse. And now I could put in a text box and say something to my students about this presentation. So I could just add presentation after presentation after presentation so that my students would only have to come to one page in order to get all of my teacher notes. So think about that, how convenient that would be to have all your teacher notes available on that one page. So that's how you embed things from your Google Drive. The next thing I want to show you is how do we add pages, because if you recall, we had to have certain requirements in our website. We had to have a resource page, we had to have a calendar page, and we had to have a schedule page. So that is very, very simple with the new Google Sites. I'm just going to come up here to Pages, and we already have a home page. I'm just going to add a page, and we're going to call this Calendar, and we're going to say Done. It creates a new page called Calendar, but watch also it creates a set of breadcrumbs in the upper right hand corner, and we still have our home page and we have a new page called Calendar. This page works exactly like the one we just left. Okay, so we can click on Calendar, we can go back to Insert, and now we can create and enter text just like we always did. Beautiful thing about inserting calendars is you can come right down here to calendar, and every calendar that you have in Google Drive will show up in this list that you have access of sharing. And I happen to have one called Demo Classroom, so I can double click on Demo Classroom and it will automatically put that calendar into the web page. Word of caution here, don't use your primary Google Calendar, because then anyone who looks at your website will have access to your appointments. Once we embed that Google Calendar, we can come over here and make it any size we want to. Let's get rid of this. And then if we just come up here to the Google Classroom, click inside of it, calendar, and then we click on settings, we can make some adjustments. We can get rid of the title if we want to. We can get rid of the date. The other thing that's very helpful is if you change, some people like the agenda view. Most of us like the month view. So if I click done now, you will see that I have the traditional calendar. The strength of this is anything that goes into your calendar over in your calendar app will automatically show up here. So this is a great way for you to communicate dates, times, when assignments are due and things like that with students and parents. All right, so let's click, let's continue this and let's add some more pages. I'm going to go back to the pages button. And I'm going to add a resources page. And we're also going to add a schedule page. Now you can add as many pages as you want, but these were the minimum. And of course on the schedule page, if I was going to create a schedule, I would just go to Insert, Text Box, and I would type my schedule here. And remember, the important thing here is your conference period, so parents know when they can reach you. If I like that, all I have to do, it saves automatically. Unlike the old Google sites, I can go to resources, and here is where I might include applications or things that I want my students to have access to. So if I'm an elementary self-contained teacher, maybe one of the things that I want my students to be able to go to is iStation for reading. So I would type in www.istation.com, and it automatically looks for that, picks up their link and photograph image, and we click add. And so now if I go to view, go to view, the little I can see that this particular link is now hot. You see the hand, and if you click on that, it's going to take my kids automatically to that link. Another nice thing about this view feature, it allows you as the teacher to come over here and see what this looks like on a cell phone. This is what it looks like on a tablet, and this is what it looks like on a computer. So it's a nice way for you to be able to see what your website looks like. Click the X button, it'll take you back to the editor. And maybe I need to add some text and explain to my kids how to log into this. So what we'll do is come over here, double click left, click a text box, and now I can give an explanation of this particular content. All right. So with the time left, I want to talk to you about how to publish. When you're satisfied with what you have, you can come over here to the publish button, and you will have to give your site a name. It'll put the hyphens in automatically. This will be the link to your entire website right here. You will want to click on anyone on the web. If you leave it here, then your parents won't be able to see the website, but your students will. It's probably better that you don't put it in the search engines, so I always click this checkbox. Then you can click publish. Takes a few moments to publish your site, and then all you have to do is give this link up here to Ms. Foster. To get that link to Miss Foster, you're going to click the down arrow, publish settings, and it's this information.